So here we go with another Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea adventure. I've done a bunch of these, and they've been putting out a lot of good adventures, so why not tell you about another one? This was one that's a little older. It was part of a great Kickstarter, and it just kind of slipped through the cracks with me doing my videos, but I figured I'd take a look at it here with you and tell you what it's all about. So of course this is going to be for referees or people who are just going to run it, so I wouldn't watch it if you're going to play it. And here it is. Here's the cover right here. Great colors. It's called The Forgotten Fane of the Coiled Goddess. It's by Joseph Salvador. There's the back. And we'll take a better look at the cover here. Here we go. So you can see, obviously, right off the bat, you've got some great colors. That just really is just, really stands out. And it gives you a good sense of what you're going to face in this adventure. A jungle kind of setting. There's dinosaurs. There's a pyramid, kind of from like the Aztecs, and it's a very unique adventure. This is by Val Zemix. He did the cover here, and I'm actually going to go backwards here and show you the back of the adventure, just to kind of show you once again the style of the boats, the style of the buildings. And so these two pictures here, they're really great at showing you what is in store, for your adventures. How it's going to be a little bit different if you played Hyperborea, as this is set in a different area. And this is the map here, the Isle of the Serpent, where most of the adventure is going to be taking place. But this is, I know it's kind of on the side, but bear with me here. So this is, if you know Hyperborea, there's a bunch of hexes and stuff, and in essence, Hyperborea is a big hex. So in one corner of the hex, there is the Lemurian Remnant. I'm going to try not to botch up that name, Lemurian, but it's a kind of a goofy word. But what's really neat about it is this hex, pretty much there's a bunch of storms and stuff. Once you get past the storms and get into this hex, it's as if the whole hex expands and becomes much larger than it is normally on Hyperborea, because the Lemurian Remnant is obviously a remnant of Lemuria. And it's just neat. It's just neat that you can take a hex on a map and expand it like that and kind of create a completely different theme, setting, land, people, environment, animals, monsters, plants, everything you can think of. And this adventure has a more of an Asian culture theme to it. It's kind of like a Lost World setting within Hyperborea, and that right there is very exciting. And go back here to the cover, as I have played lots of Western European themed settings, it's nice to always have something a little bit different. I like deserts. I like jungles. I like anything that kind of changes it up and puts your players in a different locale than maybe they're used to. And obviously we know from jungles is that strange animals, strange monsters, maybe harsh environments, harsh, conditions that the players are going to have to deal with their characters. And so it's just neat to kind of have that new feel. While I still enjoy, Western European themed settings, it's always nice to kind of dabble in this. But again, great art here that shows you what you're going to get with this adventure. So one thing that's good about it, and of course I've said about this in my other videos, is that anything that gives you more of the setting of Hyperborea and this game, I'm all for. So in essence, you get a small little primer of the Lemurian Remnant. So you're getting a little bit of setting information, so you can run adventures here. You can see, obviously, this little island here, the Isle of the Serpent, is just one of the smaller islands off the main Lemurian Remnant. And so you can play a bunch of stuff on here with this theme. So it's nice to have a little bit extra setting to go along with Hyperborea. And this is going to be what seems to be somewhat of a fairly generic story. It's going to be where you get a treasure map, and a thief has got a treasure map, and you pull your money together and buy it. And it was originally belonged to an Ixian, and so you get passage to the Lemurian Remnant to try to go find this fabled treasure. So it's fairly, go treasure map, go get it. So let's go through the book a little bit and let's take a look. So right off the bat here, you're going to have a section obviously on the history of this place, how it was created, how it broke away from Lemuria, how it got kind of thrown onto Hyperborea when Lemuria was destroyed. And again, some great art here to show you that yes, you're going to be dealing with dinosaurs. So you'll get to use one of my favorite phrases is dino damage. Whenever you take out one of these dinosaurs, you can deal dino damage to them. And so, you know, flora and fauna of Lemuria, and again, this is that setting area, you know, of the book, of the adventure, really, that is just fantastic to have. And again, I think, you know, great OSR type art with a lot of his normal artists that he's used in the past. So yeah, I like, you know, seeing about the history, the geography of Lemuria, and of course the different type of people that are there. Random encounters that might that might happen, and you can see there from the list, these are quite unique and quite different. You're not going to face, you know, a lot of the stuff that you're going to find on Hyperborea's mainland or its islands. You know, this is very unique, and it's neat to learn about, you know, the different type of plants and animals. And one thing that Jeff Talanian and Northwind Adventures does is they really spotlight these small things to try to make these places come alive, and I really enjoy that. From the diet that the people there, the local people have, to their religion, the different type of gods they brought with them, ones they've kind of you know, from Hyperborea that kind of, you know, joined in here that people also worship, but just kind of giving that feel of day-to-day life, food, religion, again, you know, just all that kind of stuff that kind of gives it that nice weight. With the, you know, their society, how they live, how do they make their money, how do they get food, and that's invaluable to try to, you know, bring it more alive. Again, like I said, they have their different gods, so that's neat to kind of play on that, and it shows you how Hyperborea can kind of expand. Now, granted, this is a unique area, but still, I think that's kind of neat that all of a sudden this one little area can worship different gods that Hyperboreans don't really have. It's going to spotlight the sites that the main Lemurian remnant has, like here, and give you just, you know, a couple paragraphs on each of them. It's not fully fleshed out, but it's just a great kind of primer should you want to do more stuff with that area. Then you're going to have, you know, the adventure itself. And of course, one thing that's really great about this setting is that it deals with a lot of like monks and these Asian themes, pagodas, the buildings, like I showed you on the back, the cover, and so it just is going to have this completely different feel, and that's going to be everything from the people that live there to their buildings and like their monasteries, and of course their rulers and their history. So the adventure is again, Forgotten Fane of the Coiled Goddess, and it's going to pretty much lead you to that pyramid right there, and it's not got a whole bunch of parts to it. You are going to start off in a major city, and I believe it's called Kamenket. It's a great city that's there on the Lemurian remnant, and it's not fleshed out. So again, that's something that if you want to do more in that city, you're going to have to kind of come up with that. But it is going to, you know, you've got your random encounters, and I'll be talking about that once we get to the monster section. And it's going to pretty much give you spotlight many things that are on the Isle of the Serpent map, because what's going to happen is you're going to get travel to the Isle of the Serpent, and this is where, of course, the adventure is going to take place. And a couple places are laid out there for your adventurers to go and explore. So it is kind of a hex crawl, but you know, in the middle is going to be the pyramid of the island, and of course, all throughout it's going to be jungle and swamp type area, full of dinosaurs, a bunch of different dinosaurs, and that might be something that's new for players, new for their characters to tackle dinosaurs. And it's in an area, in a setting that, you know, this kind of makes sense. So not every setting can fit dinosaurs, but this one definitely can, and I think that's great. So you're going to get your rumors about the island. It's going to kind of get you there, kind of get you a little bit more adventure hooks. You're going to sail to the island. You've got random encounters, and you know, those are just going to be, you know, again, they're just going to exude that jungle swamp motif. You know, giant dragonflies, giant frogs, giant centipedes, beetles, leeches, you know, the list goes on. And of course, there's tons of dinosaurs' names, which I will never attempt to say here on the video, as I will completely probably make a fool of myself trying to say these dinosaur names, but they do have the phonetic spelling for you, should you attempt to tackle that. Hazards like quicksand, steam vents, swamp gas, things like that you'll find in this area. There are monkey men, and of course this adventure is going to have a bunch of snakes. You're going to expect that with the name, the Coiled Goddess. Bunch of snakes, snake men, monkey men. So it's just going to have, again, that a lot of these creatures and animals that your players and maybe your characters, the characters have never faced. So there's a pirate outpost, spotlighting some of the other areas. Pirate outpost here that you can see, normally laid out, how they always have for their adventures. And then this is the monastery grounds where this pyramid is. Up to the north there is going to be a village full of NPCs and stuff going on in that village, and it's going to be, again, completely fleshed out for you. And that's going to be, of course, very helpful. I'm not showing you all the art because, a lot of the art, of course, is great, but I would love to be able to show you all. But, you pick it up, take a look, and I think you'll be pleased with it. From peasant houses are in this village. There's an ancient wall, large barn. There's a little bit of a snake man who's kind of undercover here, who's kind of like controlling these people in these villages where they take up sacrifices. And the story deals with some snake men, and it deals with a Naga that's pretty much the Coiled Goddess, and the worshipping of her. And I think it's going to be really fun because, again, unique creatures for players to come across. And then you're going to go into the temples, like, what's the lighting in there? What's the rooms? What's the doors like? So I love whenever they kind of lay that out for you, let you know like how tall stuff is, what's the lighting like in there, are doors shut, are they locked, what are they made out of? And of course it's going to give you all that information. So here's pretty much the main floor of the pyramid, very normal type of map that's easy to see, easy to quickly, get details out of. And it's going to get you on your way for the pyramid to go through. Here's some great art. Again, giant snakes. It's going to be a bunch of snakes. A bunch of guys called, I think they're called lay brothers. And these are going to be kind of like the guards, the goons that are in there. You'll be facing a lot of those. You'll be facing a lot of monks. So you're going to be able to deal with a lot of characters that have martial arts type attacks against your players and the characters. So that's going to be fun and new, of course, which is great. Again, there'll be dinosaurs throughout this place as well. And there'll, of course, be the great loot that Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea have, which is fun. And you'll come across a couple of, kind of the important NPCs that are part of this temple. And there is finally the Temple of Yig, which is going to kind of, as the characters progress throughout the pyramid, they're going to face this dude here. This is a Jonathan Bingham, I think, is who did this one. And, just some of the art to show you, and again, showing you off that motif that it has. This is the pyramid sublevel, and there is a cross-section of the pyramid, which is very helpful, but it continues on with that great mapping. And here's some snake men and a sauna. So that's a unique picture right there, a piece of art, with them kind of lounging around in the sauna heat. And you'll be dealing with them, of course. Here is them doing experiments on some of these monkey men. You can see them with their little knife and such. So yeah, it just continues on showing you some of the art. And then here she is at the end, the Naga, and of course the treasure, as you can see, that she's sitting on, that awaits the adventurers as they go in there. So I love this piece of art. And it's not a huge adventure when it comes to the scope. It can be very big should your players like to run around and do a lot of sandbox stuff, especially with the hex crawl that you have on the island. And of course, here's going to be spotlighting some new dinosaurs that are in the adventure. And again, back to that map there. So overall, I love this art here on the back. It shows the different type of ships, and that's always great. So here it is, Forgotten Fane of the Coiled Goddess. And just so you know, it is 46 characters of levels 5 through 7. And I think it's going to be really fun for you if you run this for your players to really give them a sense of a new setting. Not just Hyperborea, which Hyperborea is already its unique setting, but then just kind of turn it on its head and deal with swamp, dinosaurs, jungle, this type of pyramid, not like an Egyptian type pyramid, snake men, and just kind of really ramp up the dangers of the jungle, the dangers of the swamp, how they camp at night, looking for maybe dry spots, on the ground, because jungle and swamps going to be difficult, bugs, things to irritate the characters, and to really stress, of course, a difficult survival in these type of areas. So, like I said, it's not extremely huge, but it's a good dungeon crawl. And of course, I always want more of the setting, so having that extra bit of area that's, you know, very unique, and allows for these type of monsters and these type of kind of micro setting to be placed into Hyperborea, I think is very valuable just for your collection, not only of Astonishing Swordsman and Swords of Hyperborea, but then any other game that you may play. Here's something you can grab that gives you kind of a unique type of Asian Lost World themed setting. So I'll have the link down below so you can get the PDF, and you can go and get it from print from Jeff Talanian's website, from Northwind Adventures, if you want to check it out. So check out that link, at least go take a look at it. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Might have one more Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea video in the future, but I don't want to keep on slamming home these, even though I'm certain that it's very helpful for those people that, you know, I hope so, that it's helpful for them to make a decision about some of these adventures. I believe that the printed adventure is $22, but I tell you what, it's well worth it for the thickness of the paper, how good it looks. It's got the maps on the inside. This is like a player's map right here. And so they can actually, you print that off and they can actually draw on that. I think that's really neat for them to kind of, you know, figure out what's what. And then, of course, here's that great hex map there for you to use for your Lemurian Remnant setting. So there it is. Once again, thanks for sitting through another Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea adventure video. Of course, I'm a big fan, like, as you probably know. If you subscribe to my channel, I hope you would. I hope you let me know what you think about this adventure, and subscribe to the channel. That helps me a bunch, and it lets me know that you're out there. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.